Welcome back to the Average Fan Podcast. My name's Sabri. We're going to talk briefly around some of the games that happened last night, in particular the Germany game, probably one of the best games I've seen this week. And we're also going to talk about the upcoming games, which are going to cement some of the positions in the group stage and decide who's going to go out and also who's going to be top of the groups. So in Group G at the moment, we've got Egypt, who are top of their group, Iran second, Belgium third, New Zealand last on 1 point. There's still a good chance any of those teams can qualify still. So going into the last game, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up being eliminated. New Zealand haven't performed particularly well, so I guess chances are it's going to be them. You'd hope that Belgium's going to perform tonight when they play, and you're going to see them go through. But let's see who they're playing. I think they're playing Iran. New Zealand's playing Belgium, so actually that's going to decide who's going to be eliminated, I guess. New Zealand need to win that game. They can't afford to draw or lose. Belgium, I guess, is the same really because they are currently on 3 points, which if they get another point, they'll be on 4 points. If they draw, leave them on 4 points. That's probably going to be enough for them to sail through with how it now looks for the third place qualification. But I guess they're going to want to win that, so at least there's no denying that they're through to the next stage. Other games that are coming up, we've got Uruguay and Spain, and we've got Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, which is in the same group. Cape Verde, at the moment, as it stands, are out based on points, but if they were to draw or to win, their goal difference, I think, is actually going to help to carry them through if they draw. So that's going to be a really interesting game to watch. What else have we got? Norway. So yeah, Norway, France. Yeah, excited to see that one. That starts at 8 o'clock tonight, so I'll be tuning in for that one. At the same time, Senegal, Iraq. To be fair, I think both of those games will be good. Yeah, if we look back at the group at the moment, Senegal and Iraq are both on 0 points. So yeah, they both need a win to try and secure that third place spot. So yeah, that's going to be a really good game, actually, the Senegal-Iraq game. Who else have we got tonight? So we've got Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. That's in the morning. That's a shame. That's 1 o'clock in the morning. Would have loved to watch that one. And we've got New Zealand, Belgium. That's 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no chance I'm watching that. And then tomorrow, obviously, we've got the England-Panama game. So I think we just need to make sure we end the group stages with a win and, progress into the rest of the tournament in a very positive manner. So I really, really hope we see some changes there for the Panama game. We'll look back at the group tables. So there's quite a few teams have already been eliminated. So Czech Republic's gone, Qatar's gone, Haiti, Turkey, Curacao, Tunisia, and Jordan, and Panama from our group as well. It's a shame about Turkey. I've previously mentioned it in a previous podcast, but they beat United States yesterday. So with them beating United States, it's given them 3 points. Had Australia beat Paraguay, their goal difference would have been less than Turkey's. They would have been on, say they've beat them by 1 goal. So they would have dropped down to a -3 goal difference. Would have been on the exact same points. It would have given an opportunity to Turkey to potentially qualify by finishing third. United States, if Australia had beat Paraguay, they would have been on 6 points. Obviously, their goal difference would have been less, so they would have obviously been below. But had they have battered Paraguay 4 or 5-0, it would have put their goal difference above United States. So they would have had the opportunity of finishing first in the group. Turkey would have had the opportunity to finish third in their group. Paraguay would have been eliminated. But because they've changed the rules now, so it's a head-to-head that decides tie-break in the group stage, the third game was almost a pointless game because no matter what the outcome, Australia and Paraguay were pretty much through. Even if Australia had beat Paraguay, with a -2 goal difference, I'm pretty certain there's still a good chance they would have progressed to the next stage. Obviously, a draw was the best outcome because on 4 points, they're both guaranteed to go through. But for me, all it means is the third game was a completely pointless game for pretty much all the teams in Group D. It also means that United States had nothing to play for, really. That they'd already been guaranteed that top spot. Even though Turkey have beat the United States, what's to say that the United States have gone out and thought we don't really care, and they weren't that bothered about losing that game because it wasn't a competitive game. They had nothing to play for. Turkey, obviously, they've played for pride, I guess. They want to make sure that they've won at least one of their games in the group stage, but it means nothing by winning at all. And Australia, Paraguay, again, it's the same thing for them. It doesn't really mean anything because they've both progressed to the next stage. All it opens the door for is collusion and cheating, basically, because what's to say Australia and Paraguay haven't got together and said, well, let's just draw this game. It's within both our interests. It means none of our players need to really exert themselves, less chance of injuries. and we all progress through to the next stage of the tournament. Obviously, they wouldn't have done that, but what's to say they haven't done that? Because there's the possibility for that to happen. And it also means, as a fan, it's 2 games which it's pointless watching them. It doesn't affect the outcome of that group at all. What's the point in playing that game? And it's the same for quite a few of the other teams and the other groups as well. This third match in the group stage is almost pointless. And it's such a shame. Australia, Algeria, I think as it stands at the moment, the third place in this group actually has a better run through the qualification. It allows Algeria, they could place the ball in the back of their own net, and it'd actually be within their interest to do that, because it would mean that they'd have a much more favourable outcome in the next stage of the tournament. And this is simply because of that tie-break new rule that's come into place. There's been issues with the camera, so I'm going to keep the rest of it quite short. So we've got the next few games coming up. So we've got Norway, France, and that's going to be a really good one. Senegal, Iraq. Obviously, that's going to decide who's going to be finishing third in that group, so that's going to be quite a good one to watch. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. It's quite an early morning game, so I don't think I'm going to stay up for that one. So it'll probably be the highlights to catch on that one. But I really want to see exactly who finishes, what place on that game. And then tomorrow it's the Panama-England game. A few other things to quickly mention before I go is the VAR. Yet another VAR decision that was wrong. So we had the England game the other day. England should have definitely had a penalty given against them. The tackle by Konza was just definitely a blatant foul. Probably a red card as well for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. But Ghana should have been given a penalty there. And last night, Germany scored quite soon. I think it's about 10 minutes in, I think. It was Mane that got the goal. But his foot was so high, it caught the defender in the face. Definitely a foul. But the referee allowed the game to proceed, and he ended up scoring. And there didn't seem to be any review by the VAR. Didn't send the referee to the monitor to check it. But it was blatantly a foul. His foot was like literally the same height as the player's face, and yet the goal stood. Fortunately, in the second half, there was a penalty decision that was given on field, but the VAR went back and actually realised there'd been a foul about 20 seconds before, further up the pitch, that resulted eventually in a penalty being given. So in that respect, they did the right thing, but it's such a shame that the 2 obvious ones weren't given. Obviously, for us in the Ghana game, it's a good job it wasn't given, but it just shows there's definitely inaccuracies still being played out in this tournament, the same as we've seen it in the Premier League as well, which is quite frustrating to see. The one thing I would say is the decisions are much quicker than we've seen in the Premier League last season. So no 4, 5, 6 minute decisions being made. It is much quicker, so the actual game is definitely being played quicker. I'd say some of the rules that have come into play so far have been quite well received. So things like the throw-ins, speeding up the goal kicks and the corners. So momentum in the games definitely quicker. I'd love to see some better decisions being made around the VAR for some of the future games. But other than that, I don't think there's much else to talk about, really. I really hope tomorrow we have a much better performance. I'd be so happy if we finished on 7 points and just finished top of the group. I think it just leads to more positivity going forward and just leads to less scrutiny, really. And I think the players don't need that. They need positivity. It was quite nice to see Tuchel's interview at the end of the game. Very positive. He just said, well, that's how it is. Don't worry about it. And hopefully the players have took that on board. Like I say, short one today. Back tomorrow to talk about some of the results from tonight.